So I just got off a call with a firm owner, and they were asking me about, well, how do you handle a simple service versus a complex service? And so I showed her templates. Templates are the standardized ways to complete your client work. And so, for example, I have a tax template here. Of course, you can create monthly accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, any type of template you want. But in this case, we had an 1120 template, and what we're talking about was she had a simple return and a complex return. So what would it look like in our system? Well, right now we have this thing called 1120 return. We've built out the logic of how many days in advance of the project due date this needs to get kicked off. Now, if I wanted to create a simple and complex one, what I would do is I would simply just change this to, well, 1120 simple. From here, I'd come in and just create copy. So click copy, instead of simple, I will do complex. Great, I'm now in the complex template, just made a copy of it. And then probably the only other thing I want to do is probably update some of the logic about how far in advance the project deadline this needs to be kicked off. Now, I keep talking about the project deadline, and for those that are doing tax, you might be thinking, well, the project deadline might change depending on when we get the information, which makes sense. What's really nice about this system is if you update the project deadline, all the dates will keep their logic with them. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you're doing a complex return. You want this to be 20 days in advance. You start working on it. You hit a hiccup, right? And instead of it being due, I don't know, February 10th, if you move the logic out to February 20th, all the tasks will move in proportion to that new date. But what's really nice here is you know when it needs to get kicked off, you know when it needs to start, so you can get it done on time. But the point being is if you need to handle different complexities, you have a simple one versus a complex one for any service you do, all you would do is create a copy, rename it, and then if you need to, adjust some of the logic of how far in advance that project deadline these tasks need to begin.